Please, Mr. Humbatov, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, before I start to speak about Tbilisi cars, actually we put the title "Why East-West Silk Road." I'm pretty sure my colleagues sort of a straight line as it goes from east to west or west to east, without considering north-south line, just in terms of geographical point of view. But in fact, if we talk about Silk Road or New Silk Road, it wasn't just a straight line, it was just a network of few lines, of one or two was passing through our countries, through our region. Therefore, let me tell you a few things about Silk Road, why it disappeared, why people did not want to use this road, or which since the ages there was quite a lot development in terms of the trading in goods, services, people contact, etc. The issue is beginning from 15th century, sea transportation began to rise, and land transportation, and not only railway transportation, but in general land transportation began to disappear. But at the beginning of last century, and due to some reasons, some political, some economic reasons, countries started to think about railway, land transportation as well. These reasons are basically as follows. Strengthening European economy following the two World Wars, and basically creation of European Union. The second one is rapid growth in Asian economies such as South Korea, Japan, Singapore, and basically China, and their trade value, increasing trade value with Europe. Then integration of ex-Soviet republics and into the world, and renewed importance of railways in terms of budget expenditures from government side as well as private companies side. Well, in fact, if we consider railway lines which are going, which could be part of Silk Way, a new Silk Road. I will basically focus on this, which is initiated by China, and will try to refer on a few citations from President of China, Mr. Xi Jinping. These railways, these lines, basically carry with it their some points of view, their initiators or initiator. Basically, they divided these transportation corridors are divided to two parts, which are either initiated by UN or its specialized institutions, or Europe and Russia-based initiatives. If you look at in my speech, actually, I will try to reply to answer to your question as well, just to strengthen the point of view the gentleman stressed before me. The idea of Silk Road, or idea of Baku-Tbilisi cars, or in general, or new Silk Road, was not something really new for our region. And if we go back to the Trilateral initiative, which was initiated in 1998 by former president of Azerbaijan, Heydar Aliyev, we will get assured. And the recent statements by China's president, Mr. Xi Jinping, about Silk Road economic belt and 21st century maritime Silk Road, maritime Silk Road, about creation of Asia Infrastructure Fund, as well as a specific fund from where some amount of money or funding will be received and allocated to the development of the countries which are based on the way of New Silk Road, starting from China towards our region and continuing further. And China has actually assisted to its partners in New Silk Road way, which Azerbaijan did, in fact, assisting Georgia, and I will come to that issue. This initiative really is quite similar to what Azerbaijan did just before. And I will go to Baku-Tbilisi cars. If we look at, I think one of the speakers already mentioned this issue in terms of for security matters. If we look at the line which is up and down from Baku-Tbilisi cars line, there are in fact some land or railway corridors in the north and in the south as well. But if we consider political situation in these areas, regions, or approach from European or Western side towards these regions, we will clearly understand that there's an only way to use securely is going to be all about Tbilisi cars, where Azerbaijan as a country, as a developing country with good economic background, with developing economic background, will stay behind this project and push it forward. Because in each statement, nearly, when Azerbaijan's president Ilham Aliyev meets travels in different countries or meets the presidents or prime ministers of different countries, in each statement he reminds about the necessity of competition and importance of Baku-Tbilisi cars railway, and what benefits this railway can bring to basically these three participating countries and further to our region and other countries. When actually Azerbaijan initiated this project, and they started negotiations between these three countries. Some of countries, basically at that time, Georgia applied to European Union, and even Azerbaijan itself applied to World Bank, the EBRD, and other multilateral financial institutions, but mostly they declined, and without showing any reasonable reason behind this. Mostly they declined funding or allocating funding for Baku-Tbilisi cars. At that time, Azerbaijan took it over and gave first tranche, because the credit allocation that was given to Georgia in two tranches, and Azerbaijan gave first tranche to Georgia to start this project. Afterwards, Azerbaijan allocated the second tranche, and this activity was the similar one as China did toward its neighbors. And not only multilaterals, but even by some countries, maybe due to some effect by different types of lobbies, etc. They decided not to intervene into the project, not to use it or not to support it. Whereas nowadays they are pretty much interested in joining the project. As it was mentioned by Professor, to withdraw their troops from Afghanistan, and for some other reasons, basically political reasons. The project is going to be completed by the end of this year, and hopefully I think these countries have already started. Okay, we have established this railway, or we modernized our system, railway system. But further, what further? As the question was asked by you, how to develop this project? How attract foreign capital, basically private capital, private investors, private sector. What we should do? For this, Azerbaijan has started to create terminals, port, the old port, which was based in Baku region, is now being renovated, reconstructed, and as it was mentioned in the speech of the President of Azerbaijan in September of last year, its capacity, the capacity of Alat port, is going to be
1 million containers.
Yeah, 1 million is going to reach 1 million containers at the last stage, which is going to be in 2 years. And this is just one way. And in addition to development of port or highways or airports, Azerbaijan now is considering to create special areas as well throughout this Baku-Tbilisi railway project, which could be considered by other countries too, by Georgia and as well as by Turkey. And I'm sure that it is being considered. Or development of some public-private related projects. Basically, this. When we speak about this project, we basically concentrate on cargo transportation, and this is quite clear because the railway systems that was created and used basically in these countries, in Azerbaijan and Georgia during the Soviet Union, was with this purpose of taking Azerbaijan oil to international markets, where it could be sold or where it could be used for different purposes. But it doesn't mean that this transportation is going to be used for passenger transport. This railway is going to be used for passenger transportation too, because as it was mentioned by the previous speaker, Marmaray project is ready, where people can jump in a train after 2016 in Baku, going through the Tbilisi cars and further to continue to Istanbul and go to Europe or just there. Taking into account what I mentioned up to now and the previous speaker, I'm sure other speakers will be speaking too, touching up on this project, Baku-Tbilisi cars. We three countries, Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Georgia, have to stay together to support this project and all other initiatives that may support, may give its contribution towards development of this project, as we do it in political and economic areas. Because if we really look at the region after a few years, taking into account this project, we really will see that this project will have a great impact on mainly on these three countries. I think this will be enough for now. If you will be having any questions, I will be happy to. Thank you.